And I say always put them in multiple places just because there should be like basically no wrong way to find out about this information. Put it on your syllabus, talk about it first day of class in your first lecture. Consider adding a resource tab to your Blackboard where you just do web links to different supports on campus. Make Blackboard announcements, especially timely ones. And then you can also reiterate all of this information that you broadcast in individual emails or conversations when you talk to students. Okay. So Leslie's going to talk a little bit about some of the food supports that are available to help food insecure students, to help any student, whether they're food insecure or not, on campus. Veronica is going to share with us some classroom resources. I'm going to share with us some housing resources. If it seems like I said earlier, information overload, please just remember that we're giving you all access to a shared Google Drive with all of this information, so you can look at it again later on your own time. But I'll let Leslie take over here.
Excellent. Starting with free food. Where can students find free food? And we know that there are many resources within the community. Anchorage as a whole, primarily the Food Bank of Alaska, they have a network of food pantries, soup kitchens, senior centers. I mean, that's not necessarily applicable to our students, but just making the point that they have a big presence within the community. St. Francis House Food Pantry is one member of the Food Bank of Alaska network that is actually very, very close to campus. And I think we could even, we work with them quite frequently. When I say we, I mean the nutrition and dietetics department and my colleagues. We have research ongoing, and there's been talks about getting a shuttle between campus and the pantry, and they work with us to sign students up for receiving different benefits through the pantry. So that's definitely an option. But a lot of times students don't feel comfortable accessing community supports. They feel like, well, it's not for them, or they think that they don't meet that particular criteria to access that particular resource. And even in the case of St. Francis House, because it is through Catholic Social Services, some students might think they have to be Catholic in order to receive those services, which is not true. That's a misconception, but it still might create a barrier for some students. So we have lots of stuff on campus that you can direct students towards. The first is actually a really exciting brand new effort that if you haven't heard about, it's because it's not quite open yet. And this is the Seawolf Pantry. And this network, my colleague, Dr. Walsh, and I, the nurse practitioner, Betty Bang, over at the health center, have all been working so hard to get an on-campus food pantry here at UAA. And we finally have approval. We finally have a space. We're moving forward to it. We're calling it the Seawolf Pantry. It's going to live in the Professional Studies Building, so PSB, in the Student Success Center.
For students who are more housing insecure to the point that like they are at risk of becoming homeless or houseless, there are different things off campus. There are things called housing choice vouchers, which are run through Alaska Housing Finance Corporation. And you can do those for private rentals or public rentals, but there's like a little bit of a different entry level for those. In order for students or anyone else in our community to access these vouchers, they have to go through some kind of, well, they have to go through Alaska Housing Finance Corporation, but they make a pretty easy to understand wait list table that is at this link at the bottom here. And then if something is open in a community, and it's 12 different communities in Alaska too, so it's not just Anchorage, but there's also other towns on there. But you can just check the site, see what towns have anything open, and then put in an application for a voucher to help you pay for housing. And that is for more long-term stable housing. Then there's emergency housing vouchers, which these ones you have to go through an entry team, but there's a number of different entry teams in Anchorage and in different towns in Alaska